change the way you approach issues, and you have to think about things differently. As far as campaigning, one of the reasons I was running was because of my daughters. I want my daughters to live in a Tennessee where they're free to make their own decisions. And right now we have a legislature filled with Archie bunkers that instead of looking to the future for inspiration, they're looking to the past. They're going about the good old days. Well, 100 years ago, women didn't have a right to even vote, which seems absurd today, that your mother and your aunt and your sister, your grandmother, they didn't have a right to vote. They raised you, but you wouldn't give them the right to vote. So just think in the last 100 years how far we've come. And then in Tennessee, they want to work backwards. They want to go back to the 50s and back to the 60s, and that's the kind of laws they write in Tennessee. And what I'm saying is, I want lawmakers who govern with morality. I'm not asking our lawmakers to govern morality. I'm not asking our legislature to be a clergy. They're not. There's no steeple on that Capitol building. It's not a church. It's a place where we ask legislators to write laws that positively affect everyone in Tennessee, not just their friends and their donors. And part of the reason I told my wife I'm going to run is because I have girls who need a lawmaker who looks out for them with the same interest that he looks out for everybody else. And we didn't have that. I guarantee we didn't have that. We don't have it right now. It's going to have to change in order to make that happen. But yeah, having young girls, and of course there's so many different challenges now for young people with social media, with the bullying that comes along with that, with you have to make good decisions in the age of social media, because what you put online can be online forever. And it was also one of the planks that I had about free meals in public schools, K through 8, came from my 14-year-old daughter. I was at school with her, and we saw these kids in the back of the cafeteria eating one morning, and I said, "Who are they?" And she said, "Well, they're the poor kids." And she didn't mean to say something cruel. It was just, that's the stigma. Well, they're the poor kids, so they get free breakfast. And just hearing her say that started this research about nutrition and inclusion and retention and attendance, and it led to a platform that's actually been overwhelmingly popular, which is that I believe that our public school students should get 2 free meals a day, hot meals, in public schools, K through 8, because we already have the money to fund it. And that came directly from my daughter.
Dennis, is there anything else that you would like to make sure that we talk about?
Well, I'm really excited, not only for the outcome of my own election, but I'm just excited to see the turnout in November. I'm excited to see what happens in Tennessee because we do have such great candidates above me on the ticket. I'm anxious to see what kind of referendum we have on this administration nationwide. I'm so excited to see how many state legislative seats flip. I hope 1,000 of them flip. I hope 60 seats flip in the House of Representatives, the U.S. level. I hope to see 5 to 10 Senate seats flip. I'm so excited to see what happens. But it won't happen if people don't vote. And like I said, what we saw in Tennessee with the last election, the presidential election, was people stayed home. They didn't think that Donald Trump was going to win, and they assumed Hillary was going to win, and they didn't bother to vote for her. They didn't do their duty, their diligence, and vote for her. And we see what happened. So I'm almost at the point of begging people, please vote. Please get out and vote. Don't let this go on another minute. And I hope that every candidate is focused on getting people out to vote. And that is one of their primary reasons. And then the other thing I would say is, if they haven't put their primary focus on going door to door, do it. Go door to door. Spend all day Saturday, all day Sunday, go door to door, because that's where people let their guard down and they're honest with you. And that has been the most enriching part of the campaign for us. And that's why we drew so many votes in the primary. We drew over 3,000 votes. That was the most of any county north of Dixon here, I truly believe, because we had gone door to door for months. And so we were actually able to perform very well in the primary, considering I didn't have a single yard sign out. I hadn't put out a single mailer. I hadn't run a single ad. But yet we had a very good turnout in District 68 for Democrats.
If our listeners would like to help your campaign, how can they do that?
Well, there's two ways to do it online. You can go to Act Blue. If you go to Act Blue and type in Dennis Potvin, District 68, Tennessee, it'll come up and they can donate there. Or they can go to our website, www.dennispotvindemocrat.com, and it's under the Join the Fight tab. And if they just click on that, Corey's set it up to as easy as she possibly could to just say, okay, this is the one I want to donate. And we need the money. The incumbent, even though we've outraised him this year, he still has $108,000 left over from all these other elections he didn't have an opponent. So he's got a pretty substantial war chest to spend. And so we're probably at about $25,000. So he's got about 4 times the money that we do. And he's going to buy billboards and TV ads. And meanwhile, we're going to focus on mailers and yard signs. We're going to do the ground game. And we're going to concede the air to him. And so we need all the help we can get financially as well.
All right. Excellent. And we'll put links for that up on our website as well. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you for stepping up and being the person to run and make sure there's a good, strong Democrat running in that seat.
Well, thankfully, across the state of Tennessee, I think there's 117 legislative races between the House, Senate, and the governor's seat. And if I'm not mistaken, there were 113 candidates for those 117 seats. I think that's what I heard. So it's an unprecedented level of Democratic turnout for candidacy. So like Jennifer, like Kate, a lot of people who never thought they would ever run for a political seat have stepped up. And, we're all busy. We all have a full-time job. We all raise children. We have hobbies and friends. And we just had to tell everybody, hey, I need to take a year and a half and do this. I need to climb this mountain and I need to do it for my community. And so it's not exclusive to me by any means whatsoever. There's so many people doing it. And I'm proud of all of them.
Thank you so much, and we'll be watching your race in the very near future when early voting starts.
Yeah, me too. Like I said, it's exciting. Well, thank you, Kelly and Sophie. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Two Broads Talking Politics. Our theme song is called Are You Listening? Off of the album Elephant Shaped Trees by the band Immunuri, and we're using it with permission of the band. Our logo and other original artwork is by Matthew Weflin and was created for use by this podcast.